What is up, guys? It's Ricky, and I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update, a bit of a sad one indeed. Yesterday on the episode which I did on Sister Kate, where she was not very happy about where she was, of course, being ill and whatnot, and questioning, was I not a servant? Why do I not get healing? We spoke about that whole thing. It is sad, definitely. But I mentioned something is very important. We understand the lesson. This is about being true to God till the end. You'll remember the Bible says, towards the end, the love of many will wax cold, right? It means because of whatever circumstances arise by that time, particularly towards the end time, a lot of people will not find any strength to continue, and they will drop off. And I wanted to show you something in the Bible that shows we're not exempt from that. Even as me and you are talking right now, we ourselves can come to a place where we feel like, you know what, I want a pause from God. It's a very human thing. It's a very human thing. And I want to show you that in the Bible. And then I want to show you what it said about the person who actually did that. How Jesus himself, not someone. This takes us back all the way to the subject matter of eternal security, the gospel giving eternal security. For people that believe, you can lose salvation, what if you deny him? The Bible says he doesn't live. But anyways, we're going to talk about that just in a minute, because it's important we have the right gospel. If you don't believe it, it's fine. That's you, right? And your advocacy for me to doubt so that I can know that I can lose it. I don't understand people that believe that and advocate for it. I don't understand people that believe it, and I don't understand people that advocate it. Because what are you advocating that I doubt God? I believe that God keeps me. So why are you so happy to get me to believe that I keep me if I keep faithful after believing? You see, it doesn't go with what the Bible is trying to show us. The Bible is trying to show us the weakness of man. Remember, the Bible says, in the book of Hebrews, he states that if you can hear the child crying, unfortunately, there are children in the building. The Bible states that the law, because it needs the hand of man, is weak. In that it needs the performance of man's work, is weak. So I think there's a lot of things that people miss out of that. And so I wanted to talk about what exactly has happened over the last couple of hours and so forth and whatnot. So you'll remember in that video I mentioned she was not happy. She was ill. She was not feeling very well. And I can understand pain is not an easy thing. I've seen it from people right before me. I remember being at the hospital to assist someone, and there was a lady there in the line for collection. She was there to collect her medication, and she told me about a sickness I had never had. She said she had this weird sickness where she can only work for like 3 to 3.5 hours, then she must rest. If she doesn't rest, she'll just collapse. It was a very weird thing. She told me the name. I thought I was going to Google it, but I completely forgot to write it. Very strange disease. And then you realize this body is easily diseased. This body, in its fallen state, you are living in a fallen state. This idea of overly glorifying the body, it's weird for me. This thing is dying. This is a dying body. So we can fall into that state. But Sister Kate, when she had the sickness, you could see it had discouraged her, right? That video, she had actually deleted it. So the video was no longer there. I couldn't see it on the channel. Initially, I'd seen it on the channel, but it was around here. She then apologized, and she said, you know what? I misspoke there. That's not right. Right. So she corrected that whole thing and affirmed the whole thing. Now, if you believe that people can lose their salvation, what happened over that 24-hour period when people came in and said, Sister Kate, no, you can't say that. You can't say, yes, the body is troubling you right now, but you cannot put that there to say, maybe it's justified for people to depart from God, right? And so people came and they kind of like called her on it, and she corrected it. And then a few days after that, 5 days or so after that, she then reported that the doctor had said that the sickness was a little bit gone too far. The doctor gave her about 7 days. Do you know, as sad as it be that she passed away or that someone passes away, modern medicine is very interesting. I find it troubling when I hear people saying, no, don't go to the doctors, like all these silly revelation people in South Africa. No, the Lord told me. No, the Lord didn't tell you nothing. That's the devil talking to you. Stop it. But I find it quite interesting that doctors can pinpoint something like that. It's just fascinating that the doctors will tell you, you got 5 days. Like, it's an amazing thing in a way, if you ask me. And I know we're talking about someone dying, and I'm talking about this thing being amazing. But I hope you understand what I'm trying to stress, or the point I'm trying to a point where you actually know in the next 7 days, I'm going home. But then this also brings back the whole thing of like people that are rapture watching and whatnot. But you see, it's a rare moment of something like that, having lived and going. Then you kind of like see the appreciation for life itself, but also how God has allowed men's discoveries to go to a point where they can pinpoint. I remember Nabil. There was an apologist back in 2010s and so forth, who was a Muslim. He became a Christian, and his name was Nabil. He used to work with what is his name? Ravi Zacharias. He used to work with Ravi Zacharias' ministry. Nabil also had the same thing. He had this sickness, and the doctors told him when he had just a few days to live. And he made a video and he posted it. It's a blessing. Because you see, in a previous video, she was saying, if it's my time to go, tell me that it's my time to go, right? And then in the next video, she's like, I don't know if you guys get me. It just fascinates me, the things that God allows us to see and appreciate out of life. If it's my time to go, tell me. And then the Lord approves. It is time. And the doctor says, you have 5 days. You have 7 days. And within that period, she passed on. So the report was I was actually made aware by someone in the comments. And if you check on a TikTok, in a TikTok page, you can see the video right at the top. It says RIP, right? So, and then also on a YouTube channel, in the post section, community section, a day ago, it then reports that it was a heavy heart, that she had actually passed on, and so forth and so forth. You see God throughout a human being's life. Yes, we may not approve the gospel of, works, and the gospel of this whole gospel that sends people to hell, and all this, the whole thing that she spent a lot of time preaching. God only is the one to judge on that, right? But let's be careful what we bring out. Well, like the gospel we preach, let's remember the faithfulness of God. At that moment, God showed it faithful. But there was a lesson that I stated in the beginning that I wanted to give also as well here, of someone who went through something like that. John the Baptist, towards the period of the end of his ministry, you will remember, John the Baptist faced this difficulty. He had preached to the Jews, he had given his life to the mission and all, and at the end of it all, they seemed to be doubting Jesus. And it somewhat baffled John the Baptist. And he asked the question, he sent his disciples, can you please go ask, is he the one we should wait for, or is there another? John the Baptist knew. John had all signs. Now someone can say, he too at that moment was discouraged. So he wanted to know. But I remember my mentor actually mentioning something very interesting. He said, it's not possible that John the Baptist was actually doubting. That's actually possibly the exact opposite of what he was doing. He was actually shocked by the reaction that the Jews were giving Jesus. It wasn't that he was doubting and he was completely discouraged. No, it's that when he was looking at him, he grew up. Remember, this is his cousin. He grew up with him. He saw him. He baptized him, and he announced him to everybody. And now they are reacting. So that's possibly where he was. He wasn't confused about whether Jesus was the one. It's unfortunate that, unfortunately, with our context, we kind of read it in that manner to say, are you the one, or is there another? We tend to interpret it to say he was doubting. But then my mentor then mentioned this particular point, which I had never heard and I had never thought of myself, said he wasn't doubting. He was actually baffled by the level of this. Because remember what the message is. Tell him that the lame are walking, the what. So he's saying, basically, when Jesus' answer was going back to John the Baptist was, no, trust me, they are seeing the signs. They are seeing exactly what they need to see, and they are reacting exactly as they are going to react to it. And so, if you consider that to say, he was doubting, look at how the Bible then speaks about him at the end. It says, that man was the greatest prophet to have ever lived. That man whom you might have said came to a point of not being sure what's going on here. He was seen as the greatest prophet according to Jesus. What does that tell you? We are not discredited by that. That's not what discredits us. You see, we are people who are in his hand. He says, those that you have put in my hand, I will lose none. That's him. That's on him now. Yes, we have our duty to keep our walk. Paul says, I bid my body to obedience, or I bring it as a slave. I bring it to obedience. Right? So there is that strict nature in which we treat ourselves. But he said, when it pertains our salvation, he will not lose any. Now notice, he didn't say you don't lose. No, he says he will not lose you. It's him that carries you. After all, it is him that saved you. Think about a person who's drowning. If a person is drowning and you save them from drowning, it is you who's going to get them out of the water. Right? Because now, if you think about it, because someone has been, is kind of like is drowning, and then you rescue them, they don't all of a sudden now start swimming. No, they still need you who rescued them, because they probably given up. They are tired of trying to swim and almost drowned. It is you who actually pulls them out of the water. So the whole idea of us having been dead and have been brought to life. You see, he's not saying that we are coming to life. It's like, okay, Jesus then raised us and then say, walk the rest of the way. No. You see, the way God gave us salvation, when people stand before him and have rejected to take salvation, I'm telling you, the level of regret. Why? Because then they will realize that was the deal. Wait a minute, that's it? I had to, that's why he says there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Great regret. Great, huge level of regret that you cannot even imagine. The point that the Bible is actually showing right there is that we ourselves are not keeping ourselves. The same way you see John the Baptist right there at that moment having to go and send a message like, wait, what's going on here? That does not mean now you don't trust Jesus. You doubted Jesus. You're no longer here, Chief. You're doubting Jesus. That's not it. That's not how God. It's God who keeps us. This idea that we keep ourselves is destructive. It will discourage you. It will discourage you. Now, if you believe that, like I've said earlier on, I want to close on this particular point. I don't understand people that not only preach and advocate, they will actually tackle people so that they can teach them. You can lose salvation. I don't understand a person like that. What's your joy in that? Like, what is your joy? What is your joy in telling me not to trust Jesus? Because me, I'm telling you, I trust him to keep me. But somehow you want me to trust me. So why are you so happy with that? Like, ask yourself. You ask yourself and then you can tell us. Why are you happy in doing that? Like, why do you get joy telling me not to trust him to keep me? When the Bible tells me, those whom he has given him, he will not lose any. That is the confidence towards our exit. That's why the verse says we are sealed towards the day of our redemption. This message is of saying, this person wore a weave. If they wear a weave, they will die. They will go to hell for weave. So now they are going to heaven is now dependent on the weave, on taking it off. It becomes too attached. It becomes attached to so many things, creates problems. So we should be careful and watchful over that. Y'all tell me your thoughts down in the comment section. Is the Rick Reality Show. Other episodes down today, they'll be down in the pinned comments. Condolences to the family, and I will see you guys on a later on episode.